Hey, welcome to another Milepost here on the V-Twin Life. V-Twin Life is brought to you by a few great companies. One being Crash Inc. Clothing. You can find them out of Oregon. Great company, specialized in clothes, doing work on bikes now. You can check them out at crashinclothing.com. They got a lot of great stuff. Hey, head on over there. Maybe they got something you like. And we can't forget Wild Ass. You like pounding miles, you like riding, you want to be in comfort? Hey, maybe strap a Wild Ass under your ass and ride with an air cushion and be comfortable for hours. And can't forget Custom Dynamics, leading the industry in lighting LED technology. Man, these guys got some great stuff. So head on over to Custom Dynamics and check it out. Now, let's get to another milepost of the V-Twin Life. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the V-Twin Life. We're finally back from a little hiatus and gonna bring it back with Milepost 101. Figured I reached out to Whit because I thought it'd be so fun to hear about her recent quick trip adventure, and getaway was still fresh in her mind. So this is gonna be a lot of fun, and it's always fun listening to some these epic adventures that people take. So welcome back, and thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. It's good to connect again. It's been a while.
It has been a while. It's been a while since I've even done one of these. So no, this is fun.
Good.
Get back into it. So what sparked the whole adventure of you wanting to try this, or how did it all begin?
So Quick Trip is a Midwest convenience store gas station that no matter where I'm at in the state, I always go to and travel to. It's kind of like my automatic spot to head to. So at the end of every year, you know how Spotify sends you over this is your top genre and your top band and your top list, whatever. At the end of every year, Quick Trip sends you this review, and there's certain tiers that you meet for the amount of locations that you've checked into, time of day, certain things that you eat, whatever. It's kind of fun. But I looked at my tier and I was like, well, this is chump change. I need to raise the bar. I need to get to that level. And I thought about it for a second, and I kind of aligned it, and it worked out perfectly for the long distance endurance part. So I married the two, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to ride to every single Quick Trip in the Midwest. This is going to happen. And I started routing it this winter. I don't know how many hours it took me to get it all in, but there was 852 locations. And so I set out on May 7th, Sunday, and I took off. And I can kind of give you a little rundown of it all. So day 3, I was trying to keep up with the timing and the routing that I had planned, and it was not working out so well. I didn't realize how much time it was going to take me at each stop. So I did verified receipts, and I have the proof of the receipts if you want to see all of them. But every single location, I was getting a dated receipt and doing the odometer, pretty much the whole verification for an iron butt is what I was doing to show proof that I was there. And that was taking 2 to 3 minutes if I was really fast and efficient at it. And then some other times it would eat up a little bit more time. So if you take that times the 70 or 60 or 80 stops that I wanted to get to each day, it was a lot of extra time that I didn't account for. So after day 3, I was like, this is not working out. I cannot physically be able to keep up with this for the 11 days that I had allotted for it all. So I was in the southern portion of Iowa, literally the farthest away from Wisconsin that I could be. And I just made a beeline back, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to at least finish the Wisconsin Quick Trips, and there's 503 total of the Wisconsin ones. So I did that, finished on the 17th, which was last Wednesday. So.
Oh, you got to show the stack of receipts just for pure.
I don't even know what to do with all of these right now. Can you see them all? This is all the whole stack. So they're all paper clipped by each day, so I know which days are which, but I don't.
That is just freaking amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot. So right now it's just sitting in my office. It's gonna sit there for a while.
Gonna have to make a giant shadow board or something.
Something like
multiple ones so you can hang them all.
I know. I literally could probably plaster my entire wall behind my office, and I still would probably have receipts left over from it all. But it's cool. But nobody's ever done something like that before. There was an individual in 2020 that had completed it within the full year, and she drove throughout that time frame to visit all of them. And I think there was like just under 500, I think 450 some. So at the rate that they've grown within the last 3 years, they put on over 100 more stores, which is crazy.
Of course.
Within that. So yeah, I've the first individual to do it, and then to ride it on a motorcycle just kind of makes it extra special. So
It does. I mean, it's not an easy adventure at all. I mean, you know exactly what you're saying, because you ran into some, little hiccups and, timing and whatnot. Like I said, especially I learned that on, doing an iron bet last year when, fuel stops and traffic start taking a lot longer than you thought. It's like, man, this ain't going to work. You got to try to figure something out. And
right.
especially when you have that time limit, it adds another factor.
So much extra time, like at least 2 hours extra each day that I didn't account for. I thought I could just like, oh, this is easy, I'll fly through it. I think my 48 and 10 was still easier than what I did right now. Like 48 states in 10 days. It like to the point where I was I was always on the throttle and the clutch, like never nonstop, because I was going through these larger cities that had like 10 or 12 of them all within a certain mark. And so you're playing around with traffic, stoplights, like those are my nemesis. I just did not like any stoplights that had like the automated, like if the bike wasn't registering as it was sitting there, I'd sit there for God knows how long. It felt like forever.
Yeah.
But like those are the certain type of things. And it was just a lot harder to manage because I was consistently going. I did to play catch up on that second day into the third day. I did a full 24 hours straight of riding and took like a 30-minute cat nap and rolled through that fourth day. Just kind of kept going to try to catch up, but I couldn't physically do that every single day. So
yeah,
it was nuts.
It's not, I mean, you look at some of the guys, some of those extreme ones, you look through the iron, but it's like, how do you run for so long on so little sleep for day in, day out? I don't know, but it's like you talk to some people and, I think Ken Anders made a point is there's a difference between being sleepy and being tired.
Absolutely.
And knowing your body and knowing when it's time to say, okay, cat nap time, I need a power nap.
Exactly. I didn't because I was going through so many. I was in the Madison area, so the capital area, and there was just so many stops. And this was later on in the evening. So I planned it out so that I could just get them all done without a lot more traffic to deal with. But I just kept rolling through nonstop. And I was like, oh, it's 2:00. It's 3:00. It's 4:00. And I was like, well, I might as well just keep going until I finish all of them within the city limits. So it caught up.
I didn't think about that part of the large metropolitan cities and traffic and trying to get through to all of them. Jesus.
It was crazy, chaotic, and just a lot. Like I was so when I finished the next evening, I got home, I put on my wedding rings because I normally just wear like a rubber one for my wedding ring. I put on my actual wedding rings and my Harley ring, and my hands were so swollen that I felt like I was like 30 some odd weeks pregnant again. Like I could not take them off. They were just, it hurt. Hurt more than what my ass did or anything else. Like it was a lot of work and a lot of effort. So it was worth it. I loved it.
Oh, absolutely.
Nobody's done it before, and I can kind of check it off that list that I'll be the first. But it took a lot more out of me than the 48 states in 10 days did, for sure. So
now, I could have read wrong, but did you get some recognition from Quick Trip for doing this?
Yeah. So I've been kind of been brand ambassador, helping them as far as promotional stuff goes since 2019. Mm-hmm. And ever since then, I've kind of kept in good contact with them all, because the social media crew for them is just freaking fantastic. Like if you're into marketing and social media, I'd follow them because they're golden when it comes to that stuff. So
nice. Yeah. That's cool. And, at least that, they reach out and, want to acknowledge what you're doing, especially, when you're basically helping putting them on the map even more and advertising for them, and they're getting all this free advertising because you're out there being crazy and say, hey, I'm going to do this, check this out, and away I go.
Exactly. There's radio spots and like certain news outlets that had met me at certain stops of them, and I took 15-20 minutes or whatever to get these interviews done too. But it kind of grew as I was getting day after day. It was really cool. So yeah, I loved it.
What'd you do for your sleeping situations?
Hotels. So the one day
Hotels.
where I did 24 hours, I didn't. Actually, one of my best friends that first day, she lived in the area that I was pretty much going to call it quits, and so I just crashed on her couch, thankfully. But the rest of them were cheap hotels, as much as like I could find around some of the rural areas. It was a little hard, a little difficult, but yeah, hotel stays.
Yeah, because it's kind of hard to plan in advance where you're going to be. So
And
ride till you're tired. Say, all right, what's in a this radius of where I'm
yeah,
at?
it was after that third day, I was like, I don't even know where I'm going to end up for that next day after that, for the next 7 days or so. So I just kind of whatever I could find within it. No, I don't think so. Somebody had mentioned he's in Illinois, correct?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I feel like he is. Somebody had mentioned to him that he's a quick trip person too, but I've never connected with him yet. He's definitely not in Wisconsin. That I know.
So do you have any planned ideas when you're going to try to get the other bit of the
There's
stores?
306. I'm sure there's going to be more because there's a couple that are going out to Sioux Falls, South Dakota as well. So they're getting farther out
They're all
there.
expanding.
I know. So, and I probably could do an iron butt and kind of connect them all. I got all of Minnesota to figure out yet. 306 is what I've got so far. I need probably a good full weekend, if not 2 weekends, probably 3 to finish it all. And we'll see what my husband will let me get done this year. I would love to get them done all this year because it's just still lingering out there as far as like what I wanted to first physically accomplish. So
Well, you kind of set the challenge for yourself, and you did what you could do within your time frame. It's like,
I did.
and now you have the others lingering. It's like, I want to finish it. I want them. I want them. And
it's one of those things that like it's always going to be a consistent like upkeep because as the new stores come, I'm going to visit them for sure. But I've got a lot out there and a whole route planned as far as the top part of Iowa and Minnesota to do that. I went up to Superior just barely, and it was like low 30s. So it wasn't as enjoyable as what I thought it was, but that Duluth area in Minnesota, I've always wanted to ride near that part of the Great River Road and all of that. I loved just the blip that I had when I was over there riding next to the Mississippi. It was cool.
I've heard about it because I think Craig Johnson's doing a thing on ride down the Great River Road coming up. The turbo ride, I think it is. And I remember him talking about that road too.
Okay. It's like just the small amounts of stores that were located right on the water. I loved riding through those small rural towns. And I would love to do the whole north to south and south to north ride of it all.
Well, and the cool thing is you could have sparked something new now. I mean, these theme style rides and whatnot from people that followed it. It's like this could open up a door to all new challenges and ideas for people to do for just another reason to go ride.
It is. I've got a handful of other routes of different ideas that I've got laid out already that I just need the time. I need the time to do it. Is what it comes down to. So
what'd you average for fuel mileage on your Pan American? Do you know? I'm just kind of curious.
I didn't really dive too much into it because most of my stops were gas stops. And so most of those receipts were like 15 cent, 20 cent gas receipts because I had to get something. And if I went into the store, it took a lot longer than what I originally had planned. So I never went below half a tank ever. So it's really hard to say what my gas mileage
20 cents. Where are you going? Pump 4? Yeah, across the street.
And pretty much when I had to walk in there to not get, like, I didn't print out a receipt. The cashier's question, 18 cents? You want this receipt? And I was like, yes, I do. I want this 18-cent receipt. The lowest I think I got was like a 6-cent worth receipt. That's what I could get. That was just a quick blip, and that was it.
6 cents of gas. Oh,
that's what I had to do to get it, and I was not as effective and efficient as when I started, but that last day I was like, I could easily fly through putting in my number for the rewards, getting that blip of gas receipt and all that within like a 2-minute mark, and I was golden. So as far as like mileage goes, I didn't do an actual iron butt any single day. I got close, I think, like with the 24-hour mark, I hit about 800. But with every stop that I did, it was not efficient to get
I can understand
1,000
that.
miles in every day. I could have if I went like longer distances, but 4,500 some odd miles throughout the whole 10 days. Technically it's 11, but I finished at like 8 a.m. in the morning on the 11th because I had a interview scheduled for that time. So like I could have done it within the 10-day mark. Technically 9 if I didn't break down, but 10 days. So about
What
500
exactly
miles a
happened
day.
with the breakdown?
So day 6, I was about to leave the hotel. I brought the bike under the awning because it was raining, and I was like, I'm just going to load up here. So I brought it in undercover, and then I went to start it and take off because I was going to accomplish a couple other things, and it wouldn't start. It wouldn't turn over, and I was like, great, I have a dead battery or something, because at every single stop I would turn off the bike, and like I was just concerned for that, like the starter and the kickstand, because at some point I was not standing on the bike, so I'd put it down every time. But come to find out, there was a gentleman at the Quick Trip headquarters, because it was the most ideal breakdown that I could have pictured. Like if I wasn't in the middle of nowhere, I was in La Crosse area, which is headquarters for Quick Trip, and the dealership local to there was literally right across the street, like from my hotel. So there was a gentleman from the Quick Trip headquarters. He came to help jumpstart it because I thought it was a battery issue. We got it started with his car, which wasn't ideal, but it's all I had as far as just getting it going. Display was not on, anything like that. I limped it over to the dealership. I let them know, hey, this is what's happening. They were so great. I think it was a Friday as well. It could have been a Thursday. My days kind of meshed all together, but they took a look at it and then let me know that it was the stator issue. So completely shot stator.
Ooh.
They did not have a part for it. So the owner himself actually drove 2 hours out of his way to go get a stator within a different dealership, came back, and the service guy stayed later that evening to work on it and get everything all fixed on it. And so I left like a little bit later in the morning the next day, but I was out a full day with it. It could have been tremendously worse without the help that what they were able to provide. So thankfully it was only a full day's worth of being out.
I know that feeling. That happened to me when I rode to South Dakota last year.
The
Went down
stator?
to go to my stator, and I only had like 3,000 miles on it. It was already brand new.
Shit, really?
Stator and regulator, and I left our campground, and I got like a mile from Rapid City Harley-Davidson. My battery light came on, and my voltmeter dropped. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
That
And I'm
sucks.
talking to guys, well, hey, take it down there, and they're like, we're full. I'm like, I'm 1,300 miles from home.
I know.
And they worked it in. He came out, hey, your stator's bad. I'm like, dude, that stator's brand new. He goes, I don't know what to tell you, but it ain't no good. I'm like,
Oh, that sucks. I come to find out too. So when I took ownership of the bike in September, so it's the same bike that I rode to all 48 states in 10 days. Like it's the exact same bike. Didn't realize that my warranty was out last month. And I was like, oh, okay, that's great. And I didn't have any extended warranty on it because I had just assumed like it probably would have started from there. But no, it started in April of 2021 when like corporate or HD had taken ownership of the bike. So in April of this year, my warranty was out already. I was like, oh, shoot.
damn.
Just another thing to add to the list. So I now have extended warranty on the bike, thankfully, but that was just another aw shit moment.
It sucks, but then you look back and I remember it's like, well, it sucks at the moment. You get back on the road, it's like, I guess it's all part of the adventure and part of the story, and
it is.
Shit happens.
It does. I'm glad it only took a day out of the timing. Like it could have been substantially worse and I wouldn't have probably been able to finish within that mark. But even within that day that I had out, I still had pretty much a full day and a half that I technically could have rode even farther too, which part of me is like, I should have just hit up most of the Minnesota ones, but oh well. I did hit up the two in Michigan just because I was up as far north as I possibly could go that I hit them up, but What can you do?
Yeah. Well, were you able to at least, try to get some rest or whatnot that day while you're just kind of
I
relaxing?
did.
Well, I guess you're not really relaxing. You're kind of stressed because you want to get on the road, but
But it was good because I didn't think, like, I didn't realize that I probably needed that rest because I've been going, like, for me, it was, I don't know why I put so much pressure on myself to get it done within a certain mark. Like, this is, nobody's done this before. I'm on my own terms, but I was thinking like iron butt style, like I need to get it done within that certain day. And there was just so much pressure to go into it. So once I came back into Wisconsin that next day, I broke down. That evening, I realized, okay, I'm working on all the Wisconsin ones. So the routing that I had done wasn't exactly working with what I had planned. And so it left me that evening to kind of reroute things within my Garmin base camp, which was needed. So it was good.
I bet that could just be a real, I don't want to say nightmare, but quite the ordeal in itself, especially when you're trying to map, and you're in a small area with a lot of stores, like especially some, your metropolitan areas of trying to figure out the best route to zigzag or whatnot to
I
get
have
to all of
no
them.
idea if it was efficient or not, but I just went through and kind of like, all right, this feels like this next one would be good and this one would be good. So it was kind of one of those things where I'm like, well, shoot, maybe I should have done this store other than this store. But some of them were like literally right across the street from each other. So I'd fill up on one, go across the stoplights, and literally be right there on the next one too. So
Get my 6 cents.
yeah.
I can just imagine the cash register or the, guy behind the counter. You want a receipt for 6 cents? Really?
The questionable look on their face was kind of like, okay.
Oh, that would be priceless.
No, but it was fun. It was a lot more work than what I expected it to be, but it was worth it for sure.
I bet. I mean, and you're doing something that, nobody's done on a bike. So you're kind of setting a trend, starting something new, and you got to figure out the best way to make it work.
Yeah, not to the realm of like 500 stops because I'm used for the iron butt ones, like I'm stopping every 250 miles on interstate roads or something like that. This was kind of more, I don't want to say Hoka Hey style, but it was like all I highly ever was on the highways or anything like that. Like I was in the rural most parts of the state, and potholes and everything else like that were just out to get me. I dropped the bike once, unfortunately, because I was coming up to a stop and these potholes were just absolutely massive, like 2-3 feet at least wide. And like, I didn't know how deep in itself, but I couldn't actually like work my way around it to put my feet down for the stop sign. And as I was trying to navigate the bike, I literally just took it to one side and dropped it. And, it was heartbreaking because I've dropped it before, but it was in like a foot worth of beach sand. So it kind of still stood up and it didn't really hurt too much. This one was just hard concrete asphalt, but I was like, oh, okay.
That's going to leave a mark.
It is. Thankfully, I have really cheap crash bars on it that I bought on Amazon because I was like, I just need something to put my feet up for. And it did the job. It literally held the bike up and didn't scratch any of the tank or even the side of the handlebars, nothing like that.
Oh,
the only
good.
part is the back pannier. There's some plastic parts on the corners, like it kind of scuffed up that part and it scuffed up the crash bar, and that was it. Because I was going like 2 miles an hour, so it was kind of a slow. Okay.
Well, and the crash bar basically did its job, what they're for. So
it did.
Works out good.
It's bent a little bit, but for the purpose of what I bought it for, done.
Oh, absolutely.
Thankfully, I tried to just see because it was still fully loaded. I was like, I want to see if I can pick this bike up with everything that I had on. So I took off the tank bag and I had a Cero waterproof bag. I took off those and I tried to lift it and I was like, I probably need to take off the top case and the side case. As I was trying that out, a gentleman, and I don't know if it was son or somebody like that, they pulled over at that stop sign, got out and literally helped me up. I was like, if I don't have to do the work, I am 8 days in and purely exhausted at this point. It was at the end of the evening that I was like, if you're going to help me, I will take your help. I'm not going to, like, my pride's out the window.
I'm not going to argue. Yeah, my pride hurts enough right now.
Exactly. So I let him know. I was like, this is what I need you to do. This is what I need you to do. And we got it up within like 2 seconds, and it was fine. No other issues on it. So
Time to pack back up and get going.
yep, pretty much. That's what I started to do and just kept rolling.
Yeah, and it's like I say, you look back and just laugh now, but I could imagine 8 days on the road. I mean, you're already fatigued, and it's like,
It was, yeah, to that point. And the sun was just about to go down. I hit that point of the night that my hands were just exhausted from that matter. So, it's good.
your whole body's probably somewhat exhausted. I mean, it's not easy being on the road that long, and so yeah.
It was one of my first rides really of the season too. I took like 2 or 3 rides with it, but before then it's been sitting all winter, and I haven't had a chance to really do any endurance riding throughout the winter either. So I just jumped straight in and went, all right, we're going to get used to this. After day 3, I didn't have to use the Bayer aspirin anymore. So
Well, winter kind of really hung around your area. I know
did.
from other people, I've got to know up in, Minnesota area and Michigan and whatnot, and it really hung on for a while. I didn't want to let go.
We had certain days that were above the 60s, and I took advantage of them, just like picking up the kids and going around the town for like a 20-mile ride. But that was the extent of it all. And even still at the beginning of May, I questioned whether it was going to be snow up in the Superior area, but thankfully there wasn't. It was just cold. All my heated gear on, for sure.
Oh, we had some of days up here. I mean, because we, not as cold as you guys been, but it's like winter didn't want to let go. And you get one day, it's like 50. It's like, sweet, I'm just going to ride up to the store, which is like 2 miles ride home, but I don't care. I'm just going to go ride.
Exactly. Done.
It's warm enough. I'll just throw my sweatshirt on because I'm not going far and I'll be fine.
And for the days that I have off, like people question, like, why would you want to do this for vacation? This just doesn't make sense to me. And for me, I only get a limited amount of days where I actually can go out and ride and do some of these long distance rides. So I was like, I'm going to take advantage of every single day that I can go out and do this. So there was 11 days worth it for me, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. You look at those people. If I had to explain it to you, you just wouldn't understand.
It's not like, why would you? Why not at this point? Yeah.
It is. It's just so much fun. I think, until a person experiences it, it's just traveling by motorcycle as opposed to car, just so much more personal, and it's a lot of fun.
It is.
I mean,
a lot
of course,
more work and a lot more time. It like takes 3 times as long to get to anywhere to get ready, but it's worth it for sure.
Absolutely. And it's so much more. I don't know. It's just way more fun. I mean, you do have those, when you're out for multiple days, you're bound to, Mother Nature might throw you a little curveball or whatnot, but you deal with it and you go on, or you try to use the technology we have. Okay, if I go south, maybe I can get around this and we'll just bypass these black skies and all I can see. But
didn't have that option. That was day 2 for me. So the first day was fantastic. Like good weather, great riding, like was fantastic. But day 2 hit, and literally that morning all the way up until I finished that evening, so almost 10 hours straight of riding, I was riding in like downpour rain, and it soaked through my entire Gore-Tex suit, my boots, my gloves, everything. I was miserable at the end of the evening. And that next day I tried to air out and like turn on the heat in the hotel as much as I possibly could, but my boots were still wet on the inside. And with the Gore-Tex and it being warm on the outside, my whole bottoms of my feet were like white from moisture that were still in there. It hurt to like put pressure on it. It was not fun because there was no other way. I only brought those boots. I should have brought something else just to have, but I didn't have a chance to air out those boots all the way. So lesson learned.
I had that was 6 weeks ago. I rode down to Dallas, Oregon. And I got down by Portland, and I hit the hardest rain that I've ever ridden in ever. I mean, people say, "Oh, it's like they turned on a garden hose." No, this was like they turned on a fire hose.
Oh, God.
I mean, it's like I have the Joe Rocket touring gear that I wear a lot of times, and it's waterproof, water resistant. Well, in under a minute, it had soaked through my coat. I had water pooling in my elbows. It was coming through the backside of my visor, water coming in the vents of my helmet.
That's the worst.
And it's like, oh, this sucks. And there was standing water on the highway. The only thing that stayed dry were my feet because I was just trying them out. I got them for Christmas from my wife, the Kimimoto soft blowers,
Oh, okay.
and none of the water went through those. So I just kept my feet behind it. I mean, the rest of me was soaked, but
So what? But
my feet stayed dry, and that was at least a relief. Because same thing, it's like I went going down to a friend's house, do some work on the down to Crash Inc. to work on my bike. It's like I didn't take multiple pairs of shoes. I took my boots, and
yeah, that's all you needed.
luckily they stayed dry. But it's like, yeah, my leathers, they hung in Brad's garage by the heater for Friday night, Saturday until Sunday morning. But it's like,
That's
holy crap, I've never been in rain like that.
No, I have a full Climb Gore-Tex suit, and that's usually does the trick. But after a certain while, the seams, like at the seams, it starts to leak through if there's consistent water for multiple hours. Like, and it wasn't bad, but it was enough to notice because I was wearing my Kevlar leggings as well because it was cold. So everything was just felt moisture.
What did you used to use in my old motorcycle? I think it was called Snow Seal.
Okay.
And you could put it on the seams. Like I used it on my old motorcycle boots and stuff and gear
Me too.
even when I rode dirt bikes, and it helps seal up all the seams. It dries clear. You really can't see it, but it's for sealing up all the seams.
I might have to for my sake, just
I'll have to
because.
see when next time I go to I know we have a big general store where I live called Swain's that has everything, and I'll see if they still have that stuff. I think it was called Snow Seal.
Okay.
It was amazing.
That's sounding just a little something because I notice it at the seams of it all. But even still, if I'm riding for 10 hours straight in straight downpour rains and that's the wetness that I got, I'll take it.
Yeah. I mean, you're putting it to his test and testing its limits for sure.
Really, I really am. So, yeah.
I remember Michael Nielsen. He was I don't remember what brand his heated gear was. He hit a downpour. I think this was last year, and the water ended up frying it, and it quit.
That sucks.
His gloves and everything, the water, and he was only like 200 miles from his house. He's like, screw this. I'm not going to finish this. Going home.
Yep. If I did not have, I have the Gerbing heated gear for the jacket. I think I have like a battery pouch one as well. I have the gloves, but they're a little tight. I have the Revit Gore-Tex gloves, so they kind of work, and I've got heated grips, so I can at least feel it if I need to. But
I think his were Gerbing. I think that's what they were.
Oh, that sucks.
But yeah, the rain was just horrendous, and I guess it fried them.
Dang, that's the worst. The hardest part for me is if I was wearing my one-piece suit and I had the Gerbing heated gear, like I didn't bring the extension for like turning the different dials as far as the heat goes, if you want it lower or higher. I just had the straight attachment, and so with that there wasn't a lot of like room to work with, and it was normally at the bottom. So my one piece, I would like try to just use the Velcro and not the zipper, because the zipper I couldn't go all the way up with the
plug-in.
Yeah. So there's certain things on this ride that I realized I was like, I need to figure out different ways to go about it, or at least different.
What's good with this, you get a dial in your setup and figure out, hey, what works for this? What can I change? What things do I definitely need to change? And it's all part of the, I don't know, trial and error of
it is
getting things and dialing stuff in.
July, I have another long distance ride coming up that I'm going to go from, I don't even know, 100-degree weather all the way up to possibly 30s, depending on what it is. So I'm going from Key West, Florida, doing the ultimate coast to coast. So I did coast to coast over my birthday in 22, January timeframe, winter, but I'm going Key West, Florida to the top of, is it Inglet, Minnesota? It's pretty much surrounded by Canada. That's the top of the lower 48, and then all the way up to Prudhoe Bay, Alaska, and back down.
Ooh.
So, yeah, that's the plan, at least. I technically have it scheduled. It's right around the 128th anniversary for Harley, too. So I scheduled this before they released their dates. So I was like, well, I'll be up in Alaska celebrating when everybody else will be in Milwaukee.
But you'll be putting the Pan American to the test on the Dalton Highway.
I will. Still working that out, but there might be a possible bike partnership with a different bike too. So we'll see.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. I'm still working out those details, but if not, my bike will be the bike that I'll be.
And something like that. I mean, any type of, you see a lot of people. I mean, you've seen people have done it on, road glides and
Oh
touring
yeah,
bikes and whatnot, but that is definitely an adventure bike dream
to
and a
do
great
that.
test for any adventure bike because that's a lot of dirt roads. And I would love to do it someday. I'd love to get a GS 1250 and just
Just
go.
go. Yes, for sure.
I had a friend of mine got one.
Alaska's the only one that I don't have checked off my list as far as states written in. So I thought I need to, and I went out big for
Oh
my goal.
yeah. And the one thing is, I have a buddy that bought one. We did, that 1,500-mile ride last year for Monsters Over Mountains, and he had that GS, and he's had like a 9.4 gallon gas tank. All
Oh,
of us are on baggers, like we're stopping every, 150, 200 miles fueling up, and Steve's maybe at a half a tank, so he's
maybe
fueling
it was
like every
like,
other fuel
holy crap,
stop. I'm
that's
like,
a stock for
yeah,
the DS?
that's a
No,
stock gas tank on the 1250. It's 9.4 or 9.6
I did
gallons.
not realize that. On the
Yeah.
Pan Am, it's 5.5. So
Yeah,
shit.
he has a range of like, what do you say? It comes on a display. It's like 450
Yeah, I would assume.
to a
Dang,
tank.
that's crazy.
Yeah, that would be so nice at times.
To not really have to worry at all. I know if I'm doing the Iron Butt challenges, you still need to show proof every 250 or 350 miles. So at least you have to stop to get that going. But to not have to worry about
Yeah.
gas, especially up in that area.
Yeah, especially up there. Very true. Because there's some long, desolate sections.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
gas can wouldn't be a bad idea to take an extra gallon or so. I mean, I have I can't remember the company. It's like a liter and a half stainless bottle. They're fuel bottles. And so a lot of times the rides, like they got a nice case, you can strap them. So they strap right down to the motorcycle somewhere. Like I'll put it on my luggage rack. And it's just a little cheap piece of insurance. It's not a lot, but whether you run into somebody else on the side of the road that just needs a little bit more or you do,
Yeah, that's exactly it. I had it and I used it actually when I did my first Iron Butt saddle sore around Lake Michigan. I had my Sporty and that little peanut tank I ran out when I was
oh,
up in the top part of Michigan, and all of the uh, gas stations were closed at that point of the evening. So came in handy, brought me back down to the nearest gas station and called it. But
lowbrow custom.
this last adventure, I didn't have to worry about gas at all. That was one thing that I was like, well, no concern.
That's funny. Wrenchman Nick, I sent him the link for the ones I have. Yeah, it's a lowbrow customs fuel bottle.
Has the holder.
Yeah, they have a nice little um textile holder whatnot with Velcro straps so you can strap it many places. So my son has one for his and I have one for mine. And
Done.
I mean, I got the idea from Setzer Pendants from Jason. When he rode up from Texas, he had two of them.
Oh, really?
I mean, they were different brand, but it's like, that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm. Always good.
You get in some of those places, like I learned when I rode through central Wyoming, there's nothing. It sucks.
Really not.
But it's,
so long. It takes so long to get through.
and there's nothing to see. There's oil derricks and there's antelope. And that's about it.
That's true. Very
Tumbleweeds,
true.
but yeah, it's if a person's traveling, it's a great, $30. It's a great sense of little bit of insurance to pack a little bit of fuel for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. That's good. And I'm sure you could use it for water bottles or something like that too if you don't necessarily need the gas and something else to hold on to. It's not.
You could probably put one of the water bottles in the case too.
Yeah.
That's what I found out I liked with those Kimimoto soft blowers. There's zipper pockets on the inside and it's actually really deep. So I found out I went for a ride 2 weeks ago. It was really warm. And I had to put a big long Gatorade bottle in with a twist top. So flip up my modular helmet, take a drink, and then put it back down in the pocket. With the wind going on, it never got, the Gatorade didn't get warm, but it still kept at a decent temperature and easy to reach. Like, because I don't have a cup holder on my bars, so that worked out great.
I have one of the Sierra ones, but I have not installed it yet because I just had so much crap on the front of my bike. Like I had my Garmin, I had my phone, I had the 360, plus I wanted to still see the display. I was like, I can't add any more to this right now.
Which 360 are you using?
Just the normal, like Insta 360 one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's come in handy at least from like just a point of view perspective that I can just click it on and it'll show.
Yeah, I got the the Insta 360, the X3, been playing with it. It's freaking amazing.
It's fun.
They're so freaking cool.
Mm-hmm. Just from the different perspectives that you can get and kind of customize. Like, I don't have to worry about if it's the right angle, so to speak. I just turn it on. I'm like, all right, I'll figure it out afterwards and edit and readjust the.
Well, sometimes I know that's been the big learning curve is learning the edit.
Mm.
There's been a few of them got frustrated, but it's nice where you can just hit the auto button and it'll do it for you. It's like,
Exactly.
hey, that's not bad.
Yeah, I can do that.
But yeah, that's been the challenging part is learning the editing for it, because God, with all the angles and everything, it's like, holy cow. It's been a little overwhelming, but I'm slowly figuring some of the stuff out. But it's definitely fun to play with for sure.
And I can't rely on, I can rely on my GoPro, but there's often times where it has failed me that I was like, at least I need some kind of other type of footage. So it's good.
Yeah, I had one of those issues a couple weeks ago, and trying not to do like a little motovlog thing, and I come home to look at it, and it never turned on. I'm like, are you serious? Damn it. Well, try again another day.
Fair enough.
So any idea roughly how many miles your coast to coast adventure to Alaska is going to roughly be? I don't you don't have to go into details. You're figuring things out, but mileage wise?
The mindset that I had when I was routing it this winter, I plugged it into the GPS and I just did straight shots there. And I was like, oh, it's only 3 days, almost 4 days. So I was like, that's not bad. It was just, I think, close to 5,000 miles within that route. And then I'm going back. So I'm going there and back within 16 days. Technically, the Iron Butt gives you 30 days to do to Key West to Prudhoe Bay or vice versa, like just one way. So 30 days within that mark and 60 days technically if you do there and back. But I'm going to try for the 16. It all depends on weather, of course, and what the conditions are like up there in Alaska. Because when I connected, I don't know if you know Kaylin Thorian. She was one of the Harley ambassadors too. She's used to be a professional skier. She's got a sweet FXR. She lives down in Florida, but she did, I think she did it on her Pan Am too in August of last year. And they hit like a monsoon type season and they couldn't make it all the way up to the top. Like it was just absolutely nuts as far as conditions go. So I'm trying not to get too far into August where it just gets nuts and dicey conditions.
There's that I've seen, from other videos is the mosquitoes.
Oh, okay.
I've seen someone's like, holy, people are literally, you get off your bike, you stop, they're wearing, I've seen pictures and videos with bug nets on.
Nets. Okay.
Like,
noted. I will bring my husband's, all of his army gear.
Yeah. I don't know what the main big season is, but I've seen a lot of videos. It's like, holy shit. I don't know if I'd want to do it just because that's a lot.
Oh God, I can't imagine, but I can't. It's part of the ones where I'm like, I'm not going to open my helmet. I'm just going to stay.
No, that'd be super cool. It'd be fun to follow that one for sure.
I'm so excited for that. It's been on my radar since I finished the 48 and 10 because I've had Alaska on my list because when I did the 48 states in 10 days, it was still during that like COVID time frame. Like it was just wasn't able to get through the border of Canada yet. They had closed everything off. So within that mark, I was like, I need to get up there. I have to get up there. So this is the best way that I can figure out how to know.
Yeah, I've only been to Juneau for a little while, but yeah, that's all. Of course, I didn't ride; I just flew up there. But it's definitely some beautiful. That area was beautiful.
Absolutely, I'm excited because I've done most of because I can get from when I've dropped my kids off in like Tennessee area with the grandparents, I can get down to Key West within like a full Iron Butt day. So it's like I can do that. It's just once I leave the state side north, I'm so excited to just see what Canada and Alaska have to offer because I haven't been up that way. I need to.
Have you ever? I know you're going to be time frame wise, but have you seen Banff at all?
Mm-mm. I've never visited or never been up that way, but I've just seen photos. So
yeah, same with me, and I would love to get up there. I was messing around on Google the other day, found out I think Banff is like 12 hours from my house. Like, really? That's not that far.
No, it's really not. Like, it takes us a full 10 hours to get down to Tennessee, so I would consider that a full day and a half type deal to drive or to ride.
Yeah, from the picture, that like that Banff National Park lake just be awesome to see.
Absolutely. I know this is one of the things why I do these challenges is that I see parts of the country that I haven't seen before. And granted, I'm not there for that long amount of time, but at least it gives me the area. Like I need to go back here. I need to go here. And so then my husband and I will take a long weekend or a long weekend, finally explore and do the things we want to do. So,
Well, some of these motorcycle adventures, do you ever kind of look out, also look at places you want to visit and see, like, okay, I'm going to go through here and maybe try to spend an hour or three just to see the area and try to knock off some of the, I don't want to say bucket list places, but these little adventure places that we all get to see via, how social media is now, and try to route some of your trips to those areas just to experience some of the places.
They're on the list. So my husband is field artillery, and the Saint Barbara is like one of the saints that they go through with their military balls and stuff like that. And they have a whole gravesite and stuff like that over in, I think, like New York area. I can't remember exactly where, but I was like, I need, whether I'm coming up or coming back down, like I'm rerouting my route just to get to that area and check out that gravesite and all of that comes with his field artillery. I think it'll be cool. But there's certain things like that. And even the quick trip location, the challenges, I made some extra stops for the Tour of Honor because this is the first time I've done Tour of Honor, and hit up almost all of the new 2023 locations for the Vietnam spots.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Tour of Honor is a neat organization, and it's just one more reason to go ride.
It is. And there's so much more to it that I realized that I haven't had a chance to even check out yet, even that's local around me. So that'll be the rest of the summer for sure. They'll be checking out.
Well, in some of those places, it's also neat to learn the history of stuff if, for the people that do enjoy it. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes along with it. So it's really cool.
Mm-hmm. Nope. I'll take any reason to ride.
Oh, for sure.
I'm running to ice cream, and I don't even know what day. It doesn't matter. I'll go 500, 400. What if I have the time frame to do it there and back to get the ice cream or get the barbecue and come back. Food is very motivating.
Right. That's why I love watch Stacy Wolf's channel, Ride for Food.
Yes.
It is so much fun. Her channel is so cool.
For sure. She's got that niche down. That's perfect.
So. Oh, yeah. And who doesn't like riding for food?
Absolutely.
It's fun finding those little hole-in-the-wall places. My dad and a couple buddies, we did yesterday, found this great little pub that had some amazing food in the middle of this town that it's literally like a dirt road going through part of it.
Heck yeah, that's the best.
Okay, this is going to be good. The pub underneath the Mason's Lodge, it was crazy, but it's all right, cool.
Done. Sign me up.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be over there shortly then.
I'll let you know. I'll give you directions. Okay. I'll meet you there. Oh, well, thanks for coming on and coming back and, sharing an adventure. Cause it was fun to follow, and, you have so much great stuff going on, and, the great adventure spirit, do a lot of cool stuff. It's just fun.
It was unique for sure. Something that people most likely wouldn't have even thought of doing, but I can kind of give you numbers as far as I finished 400 or 546 locations. So it averaged out to be about 54 stores a day. And then a total of 4,500 some odd in miles. So around that, just shy of 500 miles each day. And then I spent 154 hours on the bike. These are the logistics that I love and I nerd out for. And it was just about 15 and a quarter hours average each day. And I had to consider that full day of not riding into there. So it probably would have been more, but yeah, 15 hours on the bike nonstop every day for sure.
And that's the cool part that I like using Reaver. Because even if you stop, they'll track you, and I'll use that, go for full rides. Well, okay, you actually only rode this many hours, but, and then it knows when you stop. So it stops timing that aspect of it, it's a cool factor. It's
you just got to make sure it's tracking. One of the days that only did half a day for me. And then day 10 only I accidentally must have hit something and it stopped recording it. And I was like, dang it, there went pretty much a whole half a day that I didn't get recorded. But
my big problem is I always forget to turn it on.
Yeah.
It'll be 4. It's oh crap. And it's 5 miles or then a half a day, crap.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well.
It's worth it. And it's fun to look back on and see all those metrics. I love it. So
Yeah, I've been learning Spot Wallet, trying to figure out how to use that one because there's some rides like I have plans for some IBA rides where
yes.
Spot Wall is required for some of them, and
Mhm.
so I've been trying to get familiar with that and learn how to use that one also.
That's how I showed proof for my verification. So I had the tracks imported into my Spotwalla tracking throughout those days. Pretty much at the end of it, it was taking so much time to load because I would upload every single receipt photo for each of those stops too. So there's so many on my Spotwalla link, but it was good practice for me because I haven't really done much as far as the like premiere for the IBA, like just getting those premier rides verified because you can
Mhm.
get them done within like 48
Oh, it's
hours or
so quick
something like
and
that.
less.
So
Yeah.
quick. Yeah. So that's where I'm like, I need to be able to figure this out. Granted,
It, it's
there's nothing
worth
that I could have.
the
What's that?
it's worth the $40 membership, and then
Absolutely.
they have what is the Premier Plus, which is
Yep.
I think 50, and that will cover your Spot Wallet
Well,
too.
and that's what I did this year because I was like, this is a no-brainer for me. And especially with the ride that I have scheduled in July. And if I want to do more this fall timeframe, if I most likely will finish those quick trip ones, I need that for sure. It's fun.
Why? And it was I had the deal the other day. I was playing with Spot Wallet, trying figuring more things out because I'm not familiar with it, and I couldn't figure out how to get the picture. It's like, I'm sitting there
Oh,
holding my phones. How do people and then realize, oh, you got to flip your phone land sideways mode to bring open the rest of the screen so you can take a picture at your stop. Because if you have it vertically, it doesn't allow you.
for Spotwalla or
Yeah.
for your tracking? Because like I'm an Apple user and I use SW Tracker.
Right. Me too.
I put in like the custom notes or custom message, and that's how I upload those photographs into Spotwalla.
See, I use the Spotwalla web or do the photos through Spotwalla.
Oh, okay. So
You
you
can
would
clip
just
open
import
that.
them directly through there.
You go
Got
to
it.
your messages for Spotwalla, and if you got to have your phone sideways, and it come over and give you the option for photo. You click on it, take a photo, and bink, it's right
Got
into
it.
that GPS point.
At least with the SW tracker, if I do the custom message, I just send it and it automatically pulls it into the Spotwalla
I
route.
might have to figure that out. Yeah, I'm still
One of those
not
things
real
where
smart at
it
it.
was very easy and very convenient, and I had just hope I had enough like data or service to be able for it to upload. There's like 2 or 3 of them that I think I didn't have service and it didn't upload, so I'll have to go back in and put them in those points. But for the most part, it worked tremendously for the 500 ones that I had to plug in there. So
I'll have to play with the SD with tracker more. I know I've watched the guy that made the app. I've watched his video a couple times. He
okay.
has 2 different ones on YouTube,
Mm.
which has helped try to figure it out because it's. I think in the beginning it's kind of confusing and a little difficult, but I'm
It is. It's a learning curve for sure.
getting better with it. I even did it the first time. It's like, oh, I'm just going to track while I'm working because driving commercial trucks. Like, all right,
Doesn't
let's
hurt.
figure this out today. Let's
Mhm.
track a ride
Why not?
or track a
You can do
drive.
all of it if you want to. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So getting it figured out, it's fun,
Mhm.
but it does make it really easy for submitting your stuff through the Premiere because you just put the link in and you name a
That's all
couple
you
things
need.
and bing, you're done and it gets
Exactly.
certified quick.
So that's what I'm excited to kind of get up to that status of being used to do that. I haven't really put in any of my like just straight iron butts. I've done more of the larger certifications just because I want to get those under my resume. But I know there's individuals that do like iron or saddle swords every single month to get like a full year or something along that lines. Eventually, when I have enough time and the kids are self-sufficient, I will be all over the country, if not far away
Yeah.
too. So
Oh, the Iron Butt Facebook group. It's crazy. I mean, some of those people, like I said, they're nonstop or every weekend. It's like, holy cow.
I
But
know. When
if
I'm
I could, I
retired,
would
look
too. It's
out, guys.
awesome. Yeah.
My husband's gonna be lucky if he sees me throughout the week. Like, I'd be mad.
Here's
think
my
you're
link,
right.
honey. Just follow me. Here's my
Yeah,
spot walla.
this is my link. You know exactly how this runs. I'll see
Yeah.
you. I'll see you in a day, or I'll see you in 2 days when I'm back from Washington or something.
Meet me here in 3 days. We'll have lunch. We'll have ice cream.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Oh, awesome. Well, thanks for coming back. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed and love hearing the story.
Okay.
That's the whole part of the why I do this is people do these awesome adventures and whatnot. And I love to hear about them. It's a lot of fun.
Heck yeah. Appreciate you having me on. It's been fun. It's fun to
Absolutely.
look through the chat too and see everybody's on here. It's good.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to hit you up after you do the next one because that'll be
an
some
adventure in
serious
itself.
stories. Oh
For
yeah.
sure. Yep.
That'll
I'm
be
gearing
so
up
cool.
for the Iron Butt Rally. Eventually, I would love to do that. I'm going to be a fly on the wall for this one this summer that's happening in June. But like that's my big goal is to get into the Iron Butt Rally and finish it and see where I land. So we're getting there.
Yeah, that's
Cool.
a serious adventure.
It is.
But it would be cool to just say, hey, you know what? I did it. Here's where I came in, and I've been there.
It's a time commitment and also like financially a commitment too for that. So I need to save up for it. What's that?
It's almost 15 days?
Yeah. It's 11 days total for the actual riding, and then you have to ride out to wherever they're located. I think it's going to be on the northeast side. I want to say Pennsylvania or somewhere out there. I'm not sure exactly where they're going to be starting and finishing, but you have to ride to wherever they're starting off to. And then the fee that comes into play for getting into that, and plus all of the fuel throughout that entire time frame. Yeah.
Everything else goes into it.
It's going to be quite the vacation for sure.
Oh yeah. But an awesome adventure nonetheless.
Yes, I'm so excited. It's
awesome.
Been a high goal of mine. So cool.
Sweet. Well, thanks again for coming. This has been a lot of fun. And you're one of the reasons, reason why I like to do these. You have a great adventures, the spirit, and you'd love it and enjoy it. And it's fun to be able to share the adventures, and now it's here forever.
Perfect. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Whit. Thanks everybody for tuning in to another Milepost. We are now in the hundreds. So knocked down 101 tonight. That's awesome. I can't believe it myself.
Heck yeah. Well deserved.
Thank you. So we'll catch you all next week for Milepost 102. So till then, have fun, ride safe, enjoy the open roads. We'll catch you next Sunday. Later, everybody.